Hey YouTube, I am 35 today. It's my birthday, so I figured I'll do a video talking about some things that I am interested in. And if you hear my son in the background, that is because he's 2 years old and he does what 2 years old people are supposed to do. I had an internal interview recently for a position that will help me gain a lot of skills. And in the interview, the hiring manager asked me if, like, what motivated me. And I told him that I was a mom, so he already knew that, like, or he thought he knew what my answer was going to be. And I'm like, what motivates me is education, learning more. And he's like, that's surprising. And I'm thinking to myself, what? And then he says, like, most people who are moms, what says, what motivates them is their kids. And I'm just thinking to myself, no, no. That's not me. Okay. Like, my kids are a part of my life, but they're just living their life and I'm just living mine. I was a person before I had children. Like, I was my own person for 25 years before I became a mom. And, there was so many things that motivated me back then, and those are the same things that motivate me today. Like, there are days where I may be inspired looking at my kids, but to say they motivate me to be better, like, I am the person I've always wanted to be today, with all the flaws and chaos that comes with me. And there's no me necessarily wanting to be better when it comes to what I have to offer to my kids. Like, we have a pretty decent relationship, and yeah, like, I feel like I could offer them more, but at the end of the day, what comes before that is education. If I don't have the knowledge, if I don't have, like, the understanding of how to be the best person I could possibly be, then, like, they're not getting anything. So learning more is really what's motivating me to be better, and that helps me to be a better mom, to be a better wife, to be a better daughter, to be a better human being on the planet. Like, it's all about education. And some people have the privilege of having it at their fingertips, and other people like myself have to really work at getting quality education. And when I say quality education, I mean the things that people are keeping from us, hiding from us. If you're not traveling and having new experiences and expanding on your skills, it's going to be hard to get the real knowledge that you need. All right, enough lecturing. Yo, it's my birthday. Like, I got a little gift bag. So here's my little gift bag. I got some wine, of course, a Apoctic. I got some chocolate, fancy chocolate. I got a candle, soft cashmere lavender candle. Can you see that? I got it from Target. It's kind of blurry. Sorry about that. Mm-hmm. And, like, people don't acknowledge the fact that, like, sometimes you can be a bit discouraged being a mom. I don't know how children, like, for me, my kids could just be like, womp womp. Like, they could just, like, look at me and be like, terrible, or the children are just really honest people. And sometimes they'll just say certain things like, you suck, you're a boring mom. And, like, that, how did that motivate you? That may discourage you a little bit, but you can't buy into it. But if you're a human being, we all are human beings, we all have our emotions, and it's okay to tell your kids you don't know. Like, if they ask you a question, you don't have to try to find the answer. You could tell them, I don't know, and I'm not sure if I'll ever know, but I'm sure one day you may find out. Like, it's okay to be that parent. And I've had different experiences. Like, most of the mothers that I know are very type A, and they're like, I don't know, honey, but I'll find out, or just really doing everything in their power to try to give them an answer for everything, and beating up on themselves if they don't know. Like, can't have kids in your 60s. And when it comes to life, you're senior in your 60s. That means that you're a master. So when you're in your 20s, when you're at childbearing age, how do you expect, like, how are you a master? Like, there are people that have that are have graduated, their kids are adults, their grandparents, and they mastered the thing. And so those are the people that will probably have the answer. So it's okay to be like, yo, go to your granny. Like, I don't know. Okay. That's a question for the grandmoms out there, great grandmoms even. I don't know. But anyway, when I turned 40, I think so, like, I've recently been dressing more of like romantic, more darker themes. I've been getting into brutalism art and architecture, um and more modern art. I was the biggest fan, and still am to some degree a fan, not the biggest fan anymore, but I was such a huge fan of Art Nouveau and Art Deco. I was a huge fan of the Victorian homes and architecture, because it's just beautiful. And I even, like, took time out of my day to just eat up all of the conspiracy theories concerning the Victorian and even the Greco-Roman ancient revival style cathedrals type of, architecture. Like, I all the conspiracy theories that came with that type of style, I used to eat up and dive into it. And a lot of it is genuine. There's so many things, so many missing or blank pieces, missing pieces when it comes to our history and who we truly are as a people, and how old we truly are, and like what civilizations existed before us. There's so many, like, gaps in history. So, like, you're not wrong to excuse me, um like, look into conspiracy theories or whatever. Anyway, I'll be right back. Where did I do my lipstick? Anyway, so I was such a big fan of that type of architecture and style, and I still am today, but now I'm starting to get more into brutalism. Like, I am getting into Gothic romantic style, and also tying in that 80s grunge, or, like, Prince style. He had the ruffles and, like, the bell sleeves and stuff like that, like, whatever you call that, I don't know what you call it. Gothic revival mixed with, like, an old romantic style. Like, I love that. I just love it. It's my thing. And I was wearing some darker hues, and someone asked me, hey, are you, like, Are you trying to dress goth? And I'm like, hmm, uh, years ago, you could have looked at me and just said I was a goth, but I would have never said that because I don't fit into any mold. I absolutely adore the Gothic architecture and fashion. And even some of the 80s music that is like, the dark wave music, I'm a big fan of that. I like Sisters of Mercy. I listen to the old like the Black Sabbath after Ozzy. So like there was a time when they had a different lead and the music was a bit different. I like that type of music. I don't know what was his name. I forget the guy's name because like I was very little baby. Most of my introduction into that type of music came from my grandpa, believe it or not. But yeah, like there's just stuff that I gravitate towards and it's just what I like. There's no like label for me to be associated with. Um Perhaps if people weren't so cruel when I was like a teenager and stuff, when I was really getting into more alternative themes of fashion and just art, because I'm an artist, I'm a painter, then maybe I would be more heavy into the goth subculture, for example. But because I dealt with so much like hatred and racism, I backed away from that and just kind of went down my own path. It allowed me to embrace more of my culture, my background, but also like I still stayed true to the things that I love. I just didn't really want to be under a particular label. That's just who I am. Like I don't like labels. Never have. And I don't really fit them. So I decided recently to um do like a 3-part series on architectural styles that I like and art styles like Bauhaus, Brutalism, Modernism, Expressionism, and Art Nouveau. Not so much Art Deco. Like Art Deco is cool and nice, it's kind of shiny. I'm more into the raw, gloomy, um, even stoic type of design. And some people say, well, Art Nouveau, Gilded Age, that had the frills and the shine to it as well. But not necessarily. This is all Gothic revival. Like, yeah, the Gilded Age may have had some shines and some spirals and some other things to it, but uh, initially it was dark, gloomy, black, plaguey. Like, just look into some of the Victorian fashion. Even when there was the flu and the Black Plague, look at their mask and all of their like gear and shit. It's very dark and like uh nothing glitz or glam about that. Now, I am a big fan of the Gilded Age, but it's not the type of theme that I like to reflect all the time. Sometimes I'll pull out my shiny, weird, unique jewelry and stuff. But other times I'll really literally wear a rock around my neck and lots of layers and darker colors and my boots and raw material necklaces and belts and stuff like that because I don't know, I like that stuff. But brutalism is lots of concrete, oppressive a little bit, even though it's for the people, freedom, equality, but oppressive. And it's like you look at the Victorian or the um, architectural styles and design, and it seems more lucid, you know. But then you think about the time, and those people weren't expressionists. most of them spent time in institutions, and women were confined to corsets and had to wear their hair up, not down and free flowing. They were frowned upon if they cut their hairs. And there's just so many like oppressive things. So it's just very interesting the contrast of the two, because you look at this architectural style and it's like it's Greco-Roman, goddessy, but oppressive. And then you look at this brutalism, the architecture, and then you look at the people and it's like they're buttoned up, but they're also kind of like rebelling and shit and fighting and like forming coalitions and stuff. So it's so interesting, the contrast that I see. And maybe I'm the only person that see it. Maybe, I'm just rambling on or whatever, but this is my video. It's my birthday. I just want to share some things that I've been really getting into. So for those who don't know, the love of my life is a musician, and he's playing in the background right now. But he's a musician, and he's also into heavy metal big time. He has his own channel, which I will, feature in one of my videos very soon. But he's a big fan of Emperor. Emperor's black metal, and I am a Hufflepuff. Okay, I'm like, I like darker themes of music, but the darkest thing that I'm going to listen to is 80s dark wave, like goth music or whatever. I'll put a whole list of bands that I like in the description. I mean, I like Bauhaus, I like Sisters of Mercy, I like Black Sabbath, I like Rammstein, or I may not be saying it right, but some of their stuff I like. Not all of their stuff. I don't speak German, but I can understand it a little bit because I speak English. And when I was young, growing up in PA, I have friends who spoke German for whatever reason. I don't know what type of school I went to. I went to a very unique school. I lived in Lancaster, PA, but that's not the point. The point is, if you're speaking German to me and you're speaking properly, I can more than likely understand everything that you're saying. But can I say it back correctly? No. So yeah, there's that.